Hey guys and welcome. I'm glad you're here. Today we're gonna be learning about JavaScript using MakeCode, a retro game editor. One of the reasons I like MakeCode is because it has all the JavaScript functionality as well as their built-in functions to create the game. Like for example, you got the sprites, controller, game, music, scene, info. All this right here allows you to create a game similar to this. You also get all the JavaScript stuff like loops, logic, variables, math, functions, array, text, and the console. My main goal for this tutorial is to focus in variables, and I'm going to teach you guys how I put all this scene right here together. Then I'm gonna show you how to use variables to change the speed of the character. As you can tell right here, I have a variable, and then I'm using that variable over here to change the speed of my player. With that out of the way, let's begin. So I have an empty canvas right here. This is the editor, and I want to start dragging blocks inside my own start block so then I can start creating a game. The first thing I'm gonna do is create the background. So I'm gonna go to the scene. I'm gonna go to set background image. I'm gonna click on the empty space. I'm gonna go to the gallery. I'm gonna pick the second option, and I'm gonna hit done. So I got this right here. My background is gonna appear here. That looks good to me. Now I need a platform for my player to walk on. So I'm gonna go back to scene. I'm gonna scroll down to set tile map. I'm gonna click on the empty space. I'm gonna go and select the forest, and let's select this right here. I'm gonna go 7 down. Yeah, 7. Let's try 7, and I'm going to hit done just to check where my tile is. Okay, it's right here in this corner. I want it to be up a little more, so I'm gonna select 6 instead. You can erase by clicking the eraser. I'm gonna go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. I'm gonna start creating my platform, and I'm going to go all the way to a maybe 9 right here. So use this, you can design this however you want. I'm just gonna use a simple setup. There's a bunch of videos they have on their website and tutorials that you can watch to learn how to do better levels. I'm just gonna focus on just creating a simple platform right now. All right, so we got that right there. Now that I have this, I want to start creating my sprite. Now that I have my platform, I want to start creating my player. So I'm gonna go to sprite, set my sprite. I want to rename this sprite, so I'm gonna click on it, and I'm gonna call it a rename variable, and I'm gonna name it player 1. Next, I'm gonna click on the empty space on the sprite of kind player. Go to gallery, scroll down. I'm gonna select this character right here. You guys can pick whichever you guys want. Hit done. Now you're gonna see the player 1 appear on the screen, but I want to move him down, so I'm gonna go to sprite. I want to go and set my sprite position. I need to change this, but I'm gonna click it. It's gonna be a drop down menu. I want to select player 1 because they have to be the same name. Because this right here, this block is gonna manipulate player 1 right here. So now I need to go down. So when I click on this, I get this X and Y coordinate plane, and I want to scroll down closer to maybe 80. Let's do 85. And you just want to calculate like a trial and error type of thing. So you just keep scrolling, just keep looking down, go in the Y axis, and then you can kind of move it a little bit until you get it right, and then refresh this. There you go. Maybe a little bit less. I'm gonna do 89. You can just type it. That looks good. Now that I have my player position, I need to also be able to move them left and right. So what I want to do is go to controller, and I want to select move sprite with buttons. Now I can change the name because I want to manipulate player 1. Now if you try to move, your character moves up and down, left and right, but you do not want your character to go down or up. So to fix that, you hit the plus sign on your controller, and in the Y axis, this basically is the velocity of the Y axis. We want 0, so you cannot move up or down. So you can see it's not moving up or down. No, or we still want left and right, left and right, left and right. So it works. So now that we have our scene set up and we can move a player left and right, we want to manipulate the speed of this character. To do that, we want to go to variables, because we need a variable that we can store information and then use it every time we want to. Now with blocks, you will go to variable and then make a new variable right here, and then I'll call it speed. And speed can hold a number. So we got this speed right here. So now I want to also be able to use my speed anywhere else I want to. So I'm gonna go back to variables and I'm gonna go and select speed. See, it's different than this block. It's more like an oval. You wanna select that because information is stored in this variable. Right now the variable is 0, so character will not move. But if I change this back to 100, our player will start moving again. So now we can move again. By setting up some variables at the beginning, you can then create a bunch of different parameters for your player, which will save you a lot of time in the future. You don't have to go searching for every place that you want to change the speed. And that's really good, and you'll know later why when we start creating other objects that we can manipulate. Now I want to show you how to do the same thing but on JavaScript. So I'm gonna go to speed. I'm gonna delete this for now, and see, it got deleted here too, and it's not here anymore. And I'm gonna go to JavaScript now, and it's gonna convert all our code. Now this might look a little intimidating at first, but don't worry. You don't have to memorize all this. You just need to know how to use it. See, all of that stuff we did is right here. All of it is here. It just looks different, but that's why you can go back from blocks to JavaScript. Now I'm gonna go to the top, and here I'm gonna use a keyword called let. Let tells JavaScript that I'm about to create a variable, so I'm gonna call it speed. Now speed, I want speed to hold a numeric value. The numeric value is gonna be 100. Variables can hold different types of data. It can be numbers, it can be strings, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. But now that I have this, I want to use my speed in my controller move sprite. To do that, I just need to come here, because this parameter right here is accepting only numbers, so I cannot put a string or anything else here. It will give me an error, but it does accept the number. Now a speed is not really a word, it's a container. It contains a number, so it knows, JavaScript knows that this is not really letters, it is a number. So that's why it'll work. So now that we have that created, I can go ahead and refresh my game, and it should work just the same way like it was working earlier. So now you know how to use a numeric variable to manipulate your speed of your character. You can also create variables that have strings inside of them, and what I mean by strings, basically text. So the first variable I'm gonna call is gonna be text variable, and I'm gonna use the equal sign, and then I'm gonna use the quotations, and inside the quotations I'm gonna write text, and I'm gonna say hello MakeCode. Now we can use this variable in any other place on our game, maybe to display the title or something like the title of our game. But if we want to see what's inside our variable, then we gotta go to advanced, console, and log. You want to put it right there, and so now you see it gives me this console log right here, right? Right now it says no. When I hit the refresh button, I get this button right here. It's a new option called Show Console Simulator. And I want to know what's inside my text variable. And to do that, to make sure that it's working, I just have to come here and write it. Text variable. And now when I refresh this, I can see what's going on inside of it. See, it gives me the string hello MakeCode. And that's a good way to test to see if what's inside your variable is working and is what you want it to be displaying. So this is one type. Now let's go and do another type. This is a Boolean. So I'm gonna B-O-O Boolean variable equals, and this one it accepts only two different values. It's true or false, and it doesn't need quotations. It just understands if something is true or something is false. And let's see if it works. I'm gonna go ahead and type it here, and now I'm gonna go ahead and refresh the game and then click the button, and there you see false. Then we can do another one of, and this one is an array, so I'm gonna call I'm gonna do array variable, and this works a little different. You need to do square brackets like this, and a variable can display text, can display number, and also a Boolean. I'm gonna show you all of those. So here first I'm gonna do a number of 100, comma. The comma would separate your values. Then I'm gonna do a text using my quotation, and I'm gonna say hello MakeCode, and finally I'm gonna do a Boolean of true. But now to display it on the console, there's a little trick. I need to do array variable, and now I need to use my square brackets to access an index. The first index in this array is 0, 1, and 2. And we'll learn more about arrays in the future, but I just want to show you how you guys can display in the console for future debugging. So here I'm going to put 0. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh my game, show the console, and I get the number of 100. Now I'm gonna show the hello MakeCode by changing the number to 1, and that should display. I have to refresh the game. That should refresh. Now it's displaying the string. When I go back, I'm gonna do the last one, do 2, and I'm going to refresh the game, show the console, and there you go. I get the value of true. So that's just that's the couple of few variable types that we got. I believe there's a couple more, but we'll go in depth in another video about that. Now watch this. What is gonna happen when I hit the blocks? Pretty cool. All the stuff that I wrote in JavaScript got converted back to blocks. That's the good thing about it. That whatever you write in blocks can also be converted back to JavaScript and vice versa. Unless you're really doing some advanced functionality in JavaScript that MakeCode has not worked on yet, you don't have to really worry about it. But this is it for this tutorial. I hope if you learned something, let me know in the comments below. And if you like the video, please like it and subscribe. I'm gonna leave all the information in the description so you guys can have access to other resources so you guys continue to learn. And I hope this was helpful. See you later.